Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Monday, February 19th. We have all you need to know about Penn State's THON record-breaking total reveal this year, as well as updates on changes coming to downtown.
We also have more on the aftermath of the deadly shooting at this year's Super Bowl parade, along with your entertainment, sports, and weather updates. Stay tuned.
For joining us tonight, I'm Morgan Suppes.
And I'm Cameron Lobley.
Penn State's THON broke its fundraising record for the third year in a row. The 46-hour dance marathon took place in the Bryce Jordan Center and raised nearly $17 million for pediatric cancer research and support. More than 700 dancers took to the floor of Bryce Jordan Center last Friday to help beat last year's $15 million record. In over 50 years, THON has raised more than $235 million. Fundraising for next year's THON starts today.
And across the street from the BJC, Beaver Stadium is gaining national attention following a recent move to honor former Penn State football coach Joe Paterno. On Friday, the Penn State Board of Trustees proposed a resolution to name the field at Beaver Stadium after the coach. The resolution also included the creation of a Sue and Joe Paterno Day in fall of 2024 to unveil the name change. The move was ultimately held off after a trustee member and the Paterno's son, Jay Paterno, suggested holding the decision for a later date. That date has not yet been announced.
And speaking of new names at Penn State, there's a new bar in town. Brothers Bar and Grill opened last Thursday on South Allen Street, right across from Champs. The sports bar and restaurant serves lunch and dinner and is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Brothers is a family-friendly up until 9 p.m. After that, it's limited to customers 21 and older.
And right down the street, construction work is beginning this week, so get ready to add a few extra turns into your commute. Starting tomorrow, work will begin on a portion of Hetzel Street between College Avenue and Calder Way. This will require a full road closure. Next Monday, the 1400 block of South Pew Street will be closed for sewer repairs. That will include parts of South Pew between South Atherton and Bradley Avenue. Both of these closures are expected to be finished by the following day. Now, we felt some cool temperatures and saw some snow this weekend, but can we expect to see more of those conditions going into the next week? Our student meteorologist Gavin Sandell with the Campus Weather Service has the latest details. Take a look.
From the students of the Department of Meteorology and Atmospheric Science, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Thanks, guys. In the studio, I'm student meteorologist Gavin Sandell with your PSN evening forecast. Taking a time-lapse view of Beaver Stadium, we had a lot of gray in the morning, but the skies have turned much bluer, and also the ground has gotten much greener. It has been above freezing here in State College, but mainly the reason that all the snow melt's going on is the nice February sun, just those sun rays melting off all the snow. Right now, though, we are sitting at 39 degrees here in Beaver Stadium. There's a light breeze kicking that feels-like temperature just down to about 34 degrees, but otherwise it is a very nice night here. But those nice temperatures won't be staying here for long. They will dip down into the teens here tonight, but that will quickly rebound going into tomorrow. And not only that, but the rest of the week we will start to see temperatures above average for this time of year. And then as we go into the late week, maybe Thursday or Friday, a weak low pressure system will come into our area, bringing us maybe a little chance of rain and potentially snow, but I'll talk about that in just a moment. Our high temperatures so far today and what they will probably be for the rest of the day. We were flirting with 40 here in State College. As you go north and west, it is going to get a little bit lower. We were just breaking the freezing mark in Erie and Bradford, but as you go south and east, mainly Harrisburg and Philly, and also Pittsburgh as well, you guys, we're just jumping 40 degrees on the day. And really the main story for temperatures is this gigantic area of green. Folks, it is still February, and so this gigantic area of green is impeding on really the Midwest, and that's not what you normally see here in this time of year. But this big area of green will start to meander its way eastward as we go into the late week. Radar shows nothing, and that's because we're under the influence of a high pressure system. And really for the entire country, that is pretty much what the name of the game is. Not much really in really our vicinity. and actually our high or low pressure system for Thursday, you're not seeing any of that footprint yet. It just goes to show that it will be a little bit on the weaker side. For the next 12 hours, though, as we go into the evening, we will dip down below freezing. So if there are any puddles from that snowstorm on Saturday still on the roads, it might freeze over, but we will go down deep into the 20s. And really, as you go into the evening and late evening hours, it will start to get into the maybe the teens. But going into Tuesday, we might have some cloud action, but going into Wednesday as well, the thing that's missing from this map is the greens and blues. No precipitation is expected throughout the entire time period the next 2 days. That's for Wednesday. And then going into Thursday, that's when we might see our chance for rain. This is at 7:30. The evening commute, especially southwest near Pittsburgh, might be a little tricky, but this will all be rain going into Thursday. Maybe a little bit of mixture as you go into Friday, but that's an if. A weak low pressure system will move out of the area by 6 p.m. on Friday, and then going into Saturday, other than potentially lake effect snow showers, our Saturday should look good here in State College. For tonight, though, those chilly conditions will be the name of the game. 15 degrees, as it will be very calm. That radiational cooling will be in effect, bringing our temperatures way down, though they'll rebound really far up there. 42 degrees tomorrow with that abundant sunshine on tap for us. Going into the next 7 days, as I said, tomorrow will be pretty nice. Wednesday, pretty much the same story. Thursday and Friday, that's where our chances of rain will occur. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we'll be climbing the ladder for temperatures. Monday, we might see a temperature of 50 degrees. With that, I'm Gavin Sandell for PSN. Have a great night.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Braun Leiber with your sports update. The Penn State wrestling team has been crowned your Big Ten regular season champions. They are now 11-0 and 8-0 in the Big Ten after defeating number 3 Nebraska. This is their 10th Big Ten regular season championship under head coach Cale Sanderson. The Nittany Lions wrestled in front of nearly 6,600 fans for the 71st straight-out sellout in Rec Hall. Penn State has won 10 Big Ten dual titles since 2012, with this year's marking the 4th straight for the Nittany Lions. Penn State remains number 1 in the nation as they prepare for their final duel of the year against Edinboro at 2 p.m. this Sunday in Rec Hall. More history was made this past weekend as women's track competed in the Terrier DMR Challenge. Their distance medley relay broke the previous school record and recorded the 7th fastest time in NCAA history for this event. Haley Kitching ran the 1,200 meter for the team, along with Zoe Goldstein running the 400 meter, Maddie Ulam running the 800 meter, and Kylie Kane running the 1,600 meter. The relay came in at 10 minutes and 49 and a half seconds, just 3 seconds behind the all-time record that was beaten last year by the University of Washington. This past weekend was the 2024 NHL Stadium Series at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Starting off on Saturday, the New Jersey Devils controlled the entirety of the game against the Philadelphia Flyers, going up early 2-0 in the first period. Despite the Flyers putting 3 in the back of the net, the New Jersey Devils took a 6-3 win. Sunday was a New York rivalry on the ice, drawing in the 3rd largest crowd in NHL history. The Islanders came out hot with a 3-1 lead. However, the Rangers mounted a huge 2-goal comeback against the Islanders in the final 5 minutes of regulation, securing a 6-5 win in the first 10 seconds of overtime. That's all for your sports update. After the break, Alicia Ernst has the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Alicia Ernst with your entertainment update. During THON Weekend 2024, Friday night marked a highly anticipated surprise performance. This year's headliner was pop rock band Walk the Moon, most famous for their 2014 hit single, Shut Up and Dance. Originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, the band has recently been on a temporary hiatus, but swung by Penn State and took center stage on day 1 of THON. Lead singer Nicholas Petrica performed an a cappella version of Lean on Me by Bill Withers, along with many original songs before a high-energy Shut Up and Dance finale. But of course, a 46-hour dance marathon would not be complete without a whole lineup of other performances to keep the Bryce Jordan Center dancing. Some highlights from the weekend include the band Walk on Mars, who covered 2010's hits like Ain't It Fun by Paramore and Aerosmith's Dream On. A nostalgic 2000s track list was a common theme over the weekend with both Ted McCloskey and the Hi-Fis and Go Go Gadget. The weekend has several repeat hits such as Valerie by Amy Winehouse and Mr. Brightside by The Killers. Now in national entertainment news, 2 anticipated movies debuted in theaters this past Wednesday, acting as 2 options for Valentine's Day moviegoers. Paramount Pictures' Bob Marley, One Love largely surpassed Sony's Madam Web. The Bob Marley biopic topped the box office with a 6-day domestic opening of $46.2 million. Meanwhile, the Spider-Man spinoff is flopping with a projected 6-day opening of $24 million, marking one of the lowest debuts for a movie featuring a Marvel character. That's all for your entertainment update. Coming up next, interview anchor Audrey Keller will be speaking with Katie Schreiner, the executive producer of Penn State Television's At the Desk. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Audrey Keller, and with me tonight is the executive producer of Penn State Television's At the Desk, Katie Schreiner. Thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Of course.
So just for a baseline, what is At the Desk?
So At the Desk is Penn State Network Television's newest show. We cover all things history, crime, and politics. And we are slowly starting to bring some new stuff in. This past week we had a Valentine's Day package that talked about the history of Valentine's Day. And this week we have a Thon package coming up that's talking about the history of Thon, which I actually made. So that's pretty fun. People should tune in for that.
Oh my God, absolutely. And why did you want to start the show?
So me and the politics panel and the crime panel that are features on the show, we started with Nittany Talk. And then Nittany Talk decided that they wanted to go more into an SNL type of show. And we were like, why not make it our own show? So on December 7th, we got approval to make it a show, and it's been a thing ever since.
Oh my God, perfect. And then what was that process of building it? How did it come to fruition?
So it was pretty difficult because we started off with these 2 concepts, and I just felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like if you were going to have a show, it needed more to it. So I came up with the idea of adding history to it, and it kind of just built on its own. We spent a month, it was me, Ryan Lowy-Yeyawan, Jackson Tortone, and Tyler McDonald. We just built this show out of absolutely nothing. And our first episode, we filmed a month, and I believe it was like 14 days after we made the show. So after it was approved, only like a month after was the show airing. And that's so cool to me.
Yeah, well, were there any challenges of creating it specifically?
Oh,
just besides the time constraint?
Absolutely. Well, normally when you're making a show, everyone wants to know that you're asking to come on as talent or a studio. Like, what's the time commitment, all that stuff. We didn't know what the time commitment was because, once again, it's a new show. So you're going in not knowing what to expect, and personally for me, I was never a producer before. None of the people who produced the show were producers in the first place. So this was something that was new to all of us. All of our directors had never directed before. A lot of the talent they were either on the panel before or they had never been on a panel. They never got an opportunity to talk about any of these topics before. So this was a whole new process for everyone. So we ran into a few issues with trying to figure out what the format would look like.
And have you figured that out since the start of the show, being a month after you created the idea?
Absolutely. Like, looking back at the episode that was just released on Friday at 5 p.m., check it out, we have been able to figure out what works out well, what we like about each segment, what we don't like, and it's honestly come from the talent and seeing what they're comfortable with and how they bounce off each other. And it's really nice seeing that they're able to work with each other so well.
Are you excited to see how that evolves? How do you think that ATD is going to evolve in the future?
I feel like we have a very strong future ahead of us. I mean, obviously, with award season coming up for PSN TV, I'm pretty hopeful. I think we have some good contenders already. But I think we have so much new stuff coming. I know after spring break, we're planning on adding a lot of new content to the mix. So I think it'll be really cool to see what happens next.
What new content do you think you're going to sprinkle in there?
We're going to be adding in some TV and movie reviews, which sounds like it wouldn't fit in, but it actually fits in really well because one, TV and movie is such an important part of the history of the U.S. and just culture in general. It's such an important part of how we've evolved as people. But also, there are so many shows that are currently claiming historical accuracy that I think we should debunk. Like, I'm sorry to say, but The Crown is not as accurate as people think it is. And I think we should debunk that next.
Oh my God, that sounds incredible. I can't wait to watch that. So you recently switched from being a secondary education major to coming to the Belisario School for Broadcast Journalism. What made you change?
So actually, that's a very funny story. At the end of my freshman year, I was giving a speech to everyone at Nittany Talk. We were going around doing many speeches. And I said, I'm so thankful that I was let in as an education major. And everyone goes, you're not a broadcast journalism major? And I go, no, I haven't been this entire time. Everyone thought I was a broadcast journalism major. And then I went home over the summer and everyone was like, oh my God, how much fun is broadcast? And I go, I'm not a broadcast major. And just everyone in my life was thinking I was a broadcast major. And I just finally realized that, wow, that's something I'm good at. Maybe I should actually do that. Maybe that's the one thing that makes me like really happy. And so making that switch only a month ago was actually like the best decision of my life. I've been so much more happy now in this than I ever was in education.
Oh, I'm so glad. Do you have any sights on what you want to do in the broadcast journalism field?
Well, my plan is to hopefully continue producing. I found so much love and support within it. But being an on-air talent is also something that intrigues me. I do love being in front of a camera. It is where I started with my theater background.
Love, me too.
But, I mean, I'm just waiting to see what comes for me.
And then is it daunting to be a sophomore EP, like leading a show like ATV?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's hard just being kind of thrown into that position, but at the end of the day, I just have to remind myself I was put here for a reason. People picked me for a reason. And everyone who helped put me in this position, I'm so thankful for, because clearly the show's going well, and I love it more than anything. To say that I am one of the creators of the show is the most amazing experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm part of it, and I know that the environment is so awesome.
She is a part of it, yeah.
So how can interested students get involved?
Yeah, so all of our socials are available, PSU at the Desk on Instagram, and if you're interested, there is the link tree in our bio that has access to the GroupMe, to our other socials, and if you reach out to us through the GroupMe or reach out to me privately on my Instagram or any of my accounts, I'll let you know.
Oh my God, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and for telling us more about the show and your experiences with it. Stick around because coming up next, Morgan and Cameron will have the latest news from across the nation.
Two juveniles are being charged with crimes connected to the mass shooting during the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl celebration last week. The shooting happened at a rally at the end of the parade route. Police say they believe a fight had broken out that ended in gunfire. The shots resulted in 1 death and 22 injuries. The 22 victims ranged in age from 8 to 47, with at least half being under 16. The two juveniles are being detained in the county's Juvenile Detention Center on gun-related and resisting arrest charges.
Now, to help these shooting victims and their families, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce recently made donations. Two $50,000 donations were made to the family of two sisters injured in the shooting through Kelce's 87 and Running organization. Following the shooting, Kelce tweeted, "My heart is with all who came out to celebrate with us and have been affected." His pop star girlfriend, Taylor Swift, also made a $100,000 donation, but to the family of the lone fatality of the shooting, Lisa Lopez Galvan.
Colorado police announced they're treating the two deaths in a dorm room at Colorado State University as homicides. The campus dispatch center says it received a call of shots fired at an on-campus dormitory around 6 a.m. last Friday. Police say both people had at least one gunshot wound. Officials didn't say if they were students and have not released their names. At this time, police say they don't believe it to be a murder-suicide. So far, no suspects have been identified.
Also in Colorado, a former World War II prison camp recently reopened as the U.S.'s newest national park. The Amatchi National Historic Site is home to one of the 10 concentration camps that were used to detain Japanese Americans following the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. Park visitors will be able to see reconstructed World War II era barracks and rec halls, and a service will be offered for finding family members held in the camp. And that'll conclude our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a very good night and stay safe, Penn State.